Greetings, listeners. Welcome to the Web 12 podcast, episode 199. Oh, we're so close. We're so close to
So
the
close.
200. But I'm here with Thomas, and we're gonna have our traditional Father Corvus episode. So hi, Thomas.
Yay! Hello. Yes, I like these episodes. You get
Yeah,
to
yeah,
get to have a bit of fun and talk about the real things that have really happened, but also imagine amazing
yeah.
futures.
Yes, because that we can be thankful of this lovely year of gaming that we had. Although it was less gaming than I wanted, but I got this very special miniature that takes up all my time. It's the most precious miniature that I have. Doesn't need to be painted, which is also a joy, but it comes in
Comes
several colors.
pre-colored. Yeah, it comes in. It's
Yeah.
already colored. Yeah, it's great.
Sometimes it brings its own colors. Sometimes those colors go all over the room and you need to clean it up. But
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. If your listeners are not sure what I'm talking about, he's a small human being.
yes,
Spewing
he
things
like
and making messes, throwing things, all those good things.
yes, lovely stuff. So Thomas, as we always do, we go over our highlights, our worst things, and our wishes for Father Corvus for next year. So we all made our little lists. Can you start off with a little highlight that you had during this
Yeah.
last year?
I weirdly I feel like I want to say N5, but that did come the year before, like last year.
It feels like this year, but that's
It
mostly
does feel
yeah.
like this. I suppose it's because, and this is my first highlight, it's because the ITS season didn't drop for
Yeah.
N5 until this year. So we had
Yeah.
quite a number of months where we were playing on an old, slightly updated version of the ITS season. And then they dropped ITS 17, and it really just lifted the whole experience, the whole thing
Yeah.
of N5, which had been exciting. It was like there were so many birthing pains for that. It seemed to take such a long time to actually get it across the line and get the sort of the information to us. And it was cool, and it was like loads of exciting profiles, but it kind of just fell a little bit flat initially because the ITS season was still basically the same as the previous one.
Mm-hmm.
But then 17 came, and it was just fantastic. Like it did everything that I wanted it to do, and probably even more. I remember thinking way back, even in like ITS 12, which might have been in fact, that was my first ITS season. People were already then complaining about how, can we not just have some new missions? Can we not just have a bit of extra something? And by the time it got to 15, I was thinking the same thing. Like, I've been in this game a few years, and it's the missions are cool, but they could be more interesting. And like, you dream of maybe like 3 new missions, 5 new missions, and what they did was they just blew that completely out of the water. And was like, not only are we gonna have basically all new missions, like from the last say 2 years, but we're also just gonna completely change the whole format. So instead of like a long list of 20 missions, we only have 10. And all of them are really different and interesting. And you've got, I think, 7 of them are completely new. Yeah, I'm so impressed. I was so impressed by 17.
Yeah, it's like I feel a little bit guilty that we didn't do an ITS 17 episode like we normally do. Whenever the ITS comes out, we do an episode, but somehow we couldn't align it. While being pretty giddy about 17, like you said, like now we're cooking with gas. Now we're seeing a new like how a new N5 Infinity should be with the missions, and it highlights how important those kind of mission sets are. And like there are 2 missions on the list where I'm a bit iffy about. With the rest, I think are now that I've done my tournaments from the last year with ITS 17 and put in every mission that I could, and seeing that it's just great stuff. Like I'm still iffy about Akail interference, like the new way of going around the deck. and that you
Yeah.
can knock out someone else's cards still feels like a feels bad moment when you do it. Like it's very
Yeah.
important to the point, but to have someone's accomplishment and then like burn it,
Yeah.
this still feels weird to me. I still think a mission is probably for the best if you lock in points and you keep them.
Yeah,
Um,
that's reasonable.
and crossing lines, I still think the middle zone should be flipped. That because now it's like the alpha strike is so major.
It's
I've
wild to have just
yeah
put models in the other side of the table.
yeah
Any model you want, in any kind of config. Well, not any model you want. Obviously, there's a points limit, but you know, basically
but-
any model you want. It's kind of it's really weird. Feels uncomfortable still.
yeah for 75 points. I've played myself a little bit of Caledonia with it and just put put like all this dog warriors and Highlanders in there and just run into your opponent's deployment zone in turn one.
That
Yeah,
sounds horrifying.
yeah. Like you throw the whip roll and like, all right, I've won it. And my opponent was like, all right, you
Get
win.
ready.
Get
Yeah.
ready, because now the wolves are going to wreck you a new one.
Yeah, I quite like Akiel. I just to go back to that one.
Yeah.
I've probably played that one the most, and
Oh.
I kind of do like the burning the achievement thing.
Ah,
In all honesty, it's not happened actually. That most of the games I've played, it's not actually come up, which has
that
been really
much.
weird. Like just the cards have not quite aligned where there's been a lot that haven't had symbols, or there's been the symbols haven't aligned in quite the right way, so it's never
Yeah.
really been able to work. But I like classified missions, like highly classified and all that kind of stuff, where you don't. It's not about who's pushing who at different times, and or do I have to go second or I have to go first. It's like I can just concentrate on these cards, and maybe I'll get lucky, maybe I won't. But yeah, it makes me sort of sit and think a lot more. Like, how am I going to do this card? Which means I have to be on the other side of the table or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's obviously an acquired taste with the whole. Yeah, you failed. You did all that work, and then I took it away from you.
Yeah, I'm gonna just burn it. Yeah, I'm also very like the going like with provisioning and zone of interest to have this diagonal board. Uh,
Yeah,
I just love it. It changes the dynamic up much. Like snipers are important because you can yeah, if you go in the far corner, you can outshoot anything.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
Sometimes,
I like them a lot. That
yeah,
diagonal thing it's still. I remember playing provisioning the first time when it were released for
yeah,
was it Gen? No, it wasn't Gen Con. What was it? Adepticon or whatever it was. No, it
yeah.
was God. What was it?
Someone did
Interplanetaria,
it.
I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Interplanetario did it, but yeah,
and I played it that same weekend, and it was like it was it just messed with my head so much. Like looking at the table, standing in front of the table as you normally would do, and
yeah,
being like, "Oh, but this bit over here in front of me is not relevant right now. I need to look just at this corner, and oh my god, it's 24 inches. This is a huge amount of table space, but it's still really far away from my opponent
yeah.
somehow." It's very, very weird, but yeah, very enjoyable as well.
I think it's like they positioning. It sounds like a betterment on supplies. Like supplies was one of those missions that they did the least with because it's always been very popular. So
Mm,
that's why I found it so much of a stunt that it's finally out. Like, but because it was it felt like a staple. Like you make the ITS and you put in supplies. That's the first thing you do. Um,
yeah,
but provisioning with the safe area, I find it so brilliant that people just like do these dashes of being shot, but still being able to put the box in a safe area so it still counts. Like because with supplies you could have the situation where if the second player comes in like, all right, you had the boxes, you're winning now, dead. Now I'm winning. So
yeah,
so I'm it's happy to you show them that. Well, it's in the safe area, so I still scored a point. So it's meaningful to run to a place where you have to put the boxes down.
Yeah, I mean that happened in my very first that first game I was just mentioning, where I'd managed to, like, my opponent had gotten the boxes and I'd managed to then track down his models and kill them, but it didn't really help me because it was like, but he still has it, and I didn't have enough orders to go and pick it up. But it made it really good. It made it like quite exciting because you're like, maybe I can do this. And I had to spend too many orders to kill the things, and that meant I
Yeah,
couldn't do it in the end. But there was like this possibility, and it just felt quite cinematic of like, it's not enough just to kill the guy. You need to
no,
get the thing and take it away. And I thought, that's that good Infinity balance where it's like it's a
yeah,
kind of a crunchy thing you have to do. There's lots of moving parts to get your model to do the thing, but the thing that you're doing feels cinematic, and it feels like
yeah,
this is something someone would actually do, not like it's a game state and that's, you
yeah.
score a
That's the
point.
end of it. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
The bag fell on the ground while his friends were around him. Oh well, let's leave it there.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Because the time has run out. We do not have another turn. We cannot
yeah,
pick it up. Yeah, for sure. And well, still, I must confess, tactical support. Whenever I run a tournament and people ask about, hey, how do we play this tactical support? And like, you don't. Just do,
yeah,
do away with it. Just start a game without it, because it takes you 10 minutes to maybe roll something that that people will
yeah.
not take or forget about, or
Yeah, that's the thing. Unless you get the automatic success or like mission critical, like reroll thing, I think it's so easy to forget. Like, oh, my model has a gizmo kit or all that
yeah,
kind of stuff. It's like, nah. I mean, sometimes I've played it and it has been useful because you're like, yeah, I have an automatic success, great. But
yeah,
then you also get the thing where it's like you cancel the other person's whatever
yeah.
they get, you can't cancel it. Okay, so this whole exercise was pointless.
My
Um,
feeling is that I roll that half the time. That my opponent has the
yeah.
cancellation.
Yeah,
Like, it's like when I roll booty, I get a flamethrower.
yeah, yeah. It's sort of a cute idea, but I feel like they need to go away and think a little bit more
Yeah,
about it. And most of the time, you just don't need it. I feel like Infinity is complicated enough.
yeah, that's for sure.
It's
Yeah,
interesting enough. Like,
yeah,
yeah, it's fine sometimes to have it, but like it's not improving my experience to the degree that I'm like, oh
yeah,
yeah, I love that addition to the game. It's really made it. It's fine. It's at best fine.
yeah,
Sometimes it's annoying. Yeah.
yeah. And yeah, but the other missions, I truly love. I'm happy with the newest edition that they added in something that was a bit of a pet. Yeah, that everyone has those kind of games that you cannot roll your whip roll to save your life. That it takes like 6 orders
Mm.
just to flip a button, and with the current, yeah, how Infinity has grown, yeah, you got less orders to spend anywho. So if you roll like six times a failure, you're probably already throwing away the game, because it took you so many resources to do so. So I'm happy with the rule of like, all right, the next roll is with a +3. Oh, and the next roll, you might have like 2 dice, so that you can at least get to a point where, unless you're rolling 20s, you're
Yeah.
with 13 guy and you're just rolling 20s, you're not gonna get it. But at least now you have a chance that after three orders, you should have it,
Yeah.
which
Yeah. And
feels
just,
like the appropriate amount.
yeah. And you know that there'll be so many occasions where someone will roll a 17 on the
Yeah,
first roll, and you're like, okay, I missed that. And then you pick up 2 dice and you roll another 17 and a 10 and you win. And you
yeah,
just think, yeah, that's, working as intended. And
yeah,
just smoothing out those sort of slightly rough edges that can, as you mentioned before, can just be a real like feel bad. Like, oh,
yeah.
this is I'm not making a bad decision. This is the right decision, but the game is punishing me, and that's always difficult to handle.
Yeah, I've still have vivid in my mind the one time I went to Führer Teutonicus in Germany, and I had an unmasking game, and I just had to activate the console to win, and I shot everyone around it dead. I cleared the path. I walked to it. I have like 4 orders to spend on a whip 14, and it's just like four
Oh
orders,
God,
15, 15, 16. And I was like, oh man. And just like, all right, now it's a draw. because I cannot roll under 14.
Oh God. Oh God. That's horrible. Horrible.
Like the guy standing over across from me. All right, that happened. Then-
Yeah. Yeah, and the worst thing is, it's like nobody enjoys that. You know, like you
no,
obviously don't enjoy it, but he knew the game was lost, and
yeah,
like he's kind of, he's managed to get a draw out of it. But it's not like he played well to do it. It's not like he
no.
like thought of some great
Oh,
tactic that's like fixed it. It just the dice just gave it to him. It's just yeah. I mean, there's sometimes that always happens, of course. That it is a dice
yeah,
game, but I think
yeah,
it's right that they minimize those occasions to a
yeah.
reasonable degree.
Yeah, because it's good that it's not like you go to it, you hit it, because yeah, it being random gives it a bit of excitement of is it gonna work or not.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you come to a point like, well, you should know where the keyboard should be by now. Like,
Yeah. It's literally like a number pad. Can you just input a 6-digit number, please? It's not that difficult.
did you forget your password again? Like.
Yeah.
At this point, he had already filled in, forgot password, got email.
Yeah, failing those 4 rolls in a row is simulating your guy having to like go into his email,
Yeah.
reset, go into his like backup email, get his 2-factor authentication.
Yeah.
Just spending too much time doing that. Yeah.
What's my dog's name already? Well, fire and missiles are going overhead. Yeah. So yeah, both our highlight was at least ITS 17, the renewal of the missions.
Yeah.
Do you have another one? 'Cause
I
I have one.
do. Well, maybe I did mine. You can do your one
Yeah,
next.
I got started. The return of some out of print factions, which I didn't expect. But
Mm.
yeah, especially Caledonia and Merovingia, and I think the listeners already found out that I am very happy because I gave them preference treatment and put out some deep dives on both of them already.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm loving your Ariadne deep dives with the same guy every time, and you both just like, yeah, Ariadne's amazing. All these units are
yeah,
amazing. We love Ariadne. Just a big love Ariadne moment. It's good. It's really
yeah.
nice.
Me and Logan just running around. Ariadna, Ariadna, Ariadna. That's that's what those 4 hour podcasts come down to. It's
Yeah,
always when it happened, Logan just slips into my DMs. I'm like, "There's a new Ariadna thing. Yes, they have to do."
are you ready, Raymond?
Are you ready?
I've got opinions about this. Yeah.
Like when I did Caledonia on my own because I wanted to do it as fast as I could. Logan came like day after, like, should we do Caledonia? I'm like, mate, I already did it. Sorry.
Too slow. Too
Too
slow.
slow.
Yeah, I gotta say, I'm happy for everyone who loves them. I'm happy for you that you got the thing you love. I gotta admit, I was dead against it when it was announced.
I know.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it previously.
Yeah.
I was so like, I was totally bought into the whole thing that Bostria, if you're listening, you said that we only have 3 sectorials per army. You said
Yeah.
that as a representative of Corvus Belli, as like, this is what Corvus Belli thinks,
This is your official
which made
function. Yeah.
which made me then think, right, okay, this is a fact now. This is the situation. Turns out it was just Bostria's opinion, which is fine. But please, Bostria, in future, make that clear every time. That would be nice, because it
I
provided
find it a
so
bit
much
of a
stress
cop-out.
and
Did
arguments.
he say it? Oh, that went over my head.
It was
But
afterwards, like some time afterwards. He was like,
oh,
he was in another interview, I think. I can't remember where he was, or maybe he did a video, but he said, like, the thing about 3 sectorials was it was my opinion that I was expressing, not
ah,
the position of Corvus Belli, which, yeah,
yeah, yeah.
okay, fine.
Hmm.
But
Like
that
Eugene
doesn't help
number
us.
one, we know that is his opinion, but
Yeah.
when he said then that sounded more like canon. Yeah, and then
Yeah.
well, my take should be either he's just taking he's taking the hit for the company,
Yeah.
but in my mind, like sure you could have said, yeah, we wanted it to go up a tree, but now that we look at how we thinned out our SKUs and because there's enough reasons to say like Merovingia, for example, there are so many minis out there already, still without the faction that you could make the faction. So there's reasons to say like, oh yeah, and you can easily proxy the Pan-Oceania armies are very easy to proxy. Like
Yeah.
you could say like from a ground of like, oh, there's good reason to say, well, the rules can be there because the minis are there. So
Yeah.
we
Yeah. And I
will
mean,
go that extra mile.
it's fine. I'm sort of calling out Bostry. I don't mean to.
Yeah, we should. We
He's
should.
we should do better, Carlos. No,
Do
it's
better.
fine. It's okay. It's at the end of the day, it's not that big a deal. But it did cause a lot of arguments for a period of time, and I was really bought into this thing of like, yeah, it should be that way, and like, the company has made a smart business decision, and blah blah blah, all this kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then obviously they backtracked, which is, it's fine. Conditions change, situations change, and I'm not on the inside. I don't know what they're thinking and doing, so it's fine. But yeah, I was dead against it. But then once they came out, and I just saw the massive love, especially from you, Raymond, and for everybody who really loves those Ariadne armies. Caledonia was before my time, right? And it conjures up such incredible devotion from players. It's kind of hard to comprehend because I look at the profiles and I'm like, yeah, I mean, they're cool, but it's quite a small selection of models. But there's something about the character in that faction specifically that people just connect with. Yeah,
they're Scottish. It's amazing.
Yeah, I'd love to join you. I'd love to join you in the Scottish accent, but I'm English, so I would get punched.
You're not allowed.
Yeah, I'm not allowed. I do quite a good Scottish accent actually, but I'm not gonna inflict that on the world. But yeah, and I must say, I was in N4 towards the end of N4. I was like, I'm gonna go and play NCA. I really like the look of NCA. I like the cool vibe they have. And they went away, and I was like, okay, I've collected some NCA models, but I'll just sell them because they're not going to come back. And of course, they did come back. So then I was like, oh, I sold these things I actually really want. But then, and maybe it's a good little segue here from one of your highlights, maybe to one of my lowlights. Maybe we're messing around a little bit, but that is that Pano is a bit OP. And I say this as a person who loves Pano and as someone who loves NCA, but like there's been a lot of complaining about the very powerful things that particularly NCA can do and Pano can do as well. So I'm a little, as I said at the start of this bit, and I continue to be a little bit divided on whether I think it's a good thing or not. But hopefully those things will settle down and some of those rulesy things will be smoothed out over time. But yeah, so that's how I feel about that. Anyway, let's stick with the positive stuff.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
What's your second positive thing?
My second highlight is the new N5 Capucalchi. For long-time listeners, they will know that I am a Capucalchi main, if you like. I play other factions as well now, and I actually have not played Capucalchi that much in N5, but when I have, I've enjoyed them massively.
Feels like they've got love. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. It's like, I've moved on, but I do come back to them on a semi-regular basis, and they're in my heart as a faction. Yeah. And they're actually as better now than they've maybe ever been. They're really, really strong. There's a lot of new updated profiles and a handful of new profiles into the faction. Laxmi, who came over from the dearly departed Foreign Company, RIP, which are another faction I collected and enjoyed. But I'm not too sad about that because Laxmi joined Capucalchi. And combined with her, you also have the new and improved Iguana, for which there's a very cool new model as well. And,
we got to glow up. Yeah,
it's a really very, very good tag. and it has a repeater, and she has a Hacking Device Plus, which gives you white noise. So if you come across anything with MSV or with marksmanship, it's just a really simple solve. You just stick white noise right on top of the tag or anywhere within 8 inches of it, and you can just go to town with the APHMG. And that's just one aspect of like a few different extra bits. The Janissary's got a really cool glow up, and in fact, well, it's a bit later on, but in October when they did a little balance pass of the game, the Odalisks, which for me are a unit, like from a fluff perspective, they just shouldn't really be in the game anymore. But they are now a really good profile. Like there's a lot going on there. It feels very modern, feels very N5, and that's I applaud CB in the way they've sort of addressed the faction without doing a full scale update as yet. But it's really good to see a faction which I myself struggled with for a really long time. I love the concept, and I love a lot of the models, and I played them for such a long time on such a long losing streak through N4.
Yeah,
I just really...
as well, to go to Rob Shepard, has been low on the tier list poll.
Yeah, massively. And I always sort of complain bitterly about people putting them down the bottom, and I'd be saying like, yeah, no, but they actually are good. They actually do have good things. And really, I was wrong. Like, especially in the time of N4 when like vanilla combined army was just like unassailably brilliant and like unbelievable cheap, brilliant units and amazing like killer centerpiece pieces. Like Capo Calci had none of that. Everything was expensive and not very good. And now things still are a little expensive, but they're more reasonable, and there are some like genuinely good centerpiece units that can really hold your list together and do some serious work. So I applaud CB for what is quite a low key like rebalance of that faction, but has really turned it around in terms of sort of competitive viability, if you like. That's one of my highlights of the year.
Yeah, units that you normally would pass over are now viable, and that's the fun part, especially Odalisks. Yeah, that are just they speak to the imagination, and it's nice to have also that unit is worth putting on the table. As well.
Completely. Yeah, and it's I see people in the various different chat, Discord channels and stuff, Hack Islam channels, getting excited about Capo Calci in a way that they never did before. So that's something to be applauded. And I suppose it's not only Capo Calci. Maybe I can broaden this out to say the general updates to a lot of factions that people have gotten excited about. That realistically they might not see a proper update until much later in the edition, or maybe not at all this edition. Like that does happen. But there are a lot of those kind of things where it just feels fresh, feels good, and exciting.
Yeah, they are the original Haris team. Like when Corvus Belli started with Haris teams, they started in Capo Calci. So it's you cannot do away with the granddaddy of Haris. He needs to come back. Oh yeah, my third and last highlight is the Viscerals as the unit. I think that this unit is probably one of my speed records of being bought, put together, and painted. I think I did that all on the same day, and then based it on the second day.
Amazing.
Like I got this backlog that is already passing 100 minis, but these Viscerals come in and like, we're little tanks, so Ray likes them. So we are getting the VIP treatment. It's just
they are very cool.
Yeah, and I like the design is so fun. The reason I fell in love with Ariana is also the tractor mulls, because they're a bit dinky, and I like dinky.
Yeah.
So, and the Viscerals are also a bit dinky. So I'm so happy that they're not like this smooth operator look like some of the other factions have. No, it's Ariana. It needs to have this vibe, and the vibe was good with the Viscerals. So they're a real highlight of mine.
Nice.
Plus, they're also very cool to put down.
Yeah. By the way, listeners, Jordan has joined us. Welcome, Jordan.
Hello.
Hi. I was just going to say I just got my bistros for the holidays, so I'm looking forward to painting them up and doing some good old artillery tack.
Yes, yes,
Nice.
especially with tag now. You're just making two dug-in link teams and just blow people to shreds. It's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Jordan, since you have come in, do you have another highlight for us?
Yeah, so it's a bit generic. My big highlight for the year is Warcraft. How they've been rolling it out this year, I think has been very good. We're hitting that critical mass where we have enough factions that more communities are starting up, and I just in general have enjoyed how they've done the design. Like units all feel unique, and they seem to be having fun with the design space.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
cool.
I can concur because now I still need to play a game, but I got Joe the Boat, and I also used the Black Friday to get at least all of the little red cap boxes from the adventure. So I do not have the core adventures box, but I do have all the 3 other boxes that you can add to it because I need I need the Zion units.
Yeah, they're a lot of fun, and I like all the factions. Still, it's early, but they all feel very unique at this point, which is nice because sometimes factions start kind of losing their distinctness, even visual distinctness. A lot of people when they start Infinity, especially before the models get paint on them, it's like, hey, those guys in military gear, these guys in military gear. But the Warcraft factions, at least so far, visually, even without paint, are all very distinct.
Yeah, now that we have the cavalry units coming out and that stone golem thing, that's just incredible.
That golem is so cool. I was that was really close to pulling the trigger on that. I got my heart set on the dwarfs, on Mount Haven, so I'm keeping my powder dry until then. But I was really close to being like, oh, maybe I just want to play with some orcs and have this big stone troll thing. Looks really cool.
Yeah. I don't want to go orcs. I don't want to go orcs. What? Oh no.
Yeah. It was really that like, these orcs. I was kind of like the idea of the northern tribes was kind of cool to me in the beginning, but I don't know. I just didn't quite connect with it. Didn't quite catch my imagination as much as I wanted them to.
Yeah.
And then the stone troll dropped, and I was like, oh, actually, maybe it's like that's like a keystone piece that's just like made it all work. But we'll see. I'm still holding off on Warcrow. I'm very keen. I like it. I like the idea of it. Everyone seems to enjoy playing it. But I'll wait until it's fully bedded in for me.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like the dwarves are coming soon. So
yeah. I'm slightly concerned for my wallet. But we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, I've still in my local area. I still need to see it pick up as much. Like I've not played the game yet, but I'm at least putting the minis together and painting. So hopefully for next year I will be playing as well.
That is a bit of a concern is community building, I think, with Warcrow, which is something that CB must also worry about, which is like certainly in my local meta, like we had an influx of new players for N5, but in general, the local community is very well established. There's a lot of very good competitive players who are quite mature, and I don't think any of them would play Warcrow. So as a consequence, I'm like, if I want to play this, there's a good chance I have to just build a brand new community. I'll probably could bring a few players across, but like you wouldn't bring them all. So then really as a consequence, there's a lot more work to do there, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but it's just something to bear in mind. And something that will need to be done.
But it has the Aristea problem. When Aristea come out, like I can play Aristea with this group, or we just can play a game of Infinity like we always do. And then chose Infinity every time.
I feel that because I've been pushing it locally. But in order to do that, I haven't played as much Infinity because I've been making sure to use the Monday game night to run demos or make sure that there's at least a table of War Pro going each week. So
Yeah.
It's also been, I think, for some communities hard because of everyone knew what factions will be coming. So you have a slow trickle of people buying in. I know locally we haven't had our first event yet, but there's a lot of people that have full armies or partial armies already got, maybe assembled, maybe in process of being painted. Everyone's kind of just waiting for that first thing, and we're hoping. I know that we have some. We're planning a event in the new year,
Mhm.
and I know a lot of people like myself. When you have an event or a league or something that you can be like, okay, I need to actually get around to assembling and painting my stuff that I bought, because we all buy things because we
Mhm.
collect more than we do anything. So
Yeah,
sometimes
sorry.
that
Yeah.
community building.
Well, hopefully it'll settle in. I think it will. They seem to be putting a lot of effort into it, and it is really eye catching and engaging. Hopefully there'll be more people like me who are kind of like, I'll just wait until it's sort of ready, fully complete as a game, so to speak, and then it'll sort of start to take off a bit more.
I find it very interesting that they just picked up the same production speed as they did with Infinity, so that they're at a steady pace. Things are coming out, and that also gives a bit of, the trust that if you just wait down the line, you will get you will get a full army of miniatures if you not just by spamming, not just being regulated to just buy the starter box over and over again, because then you can fit an army of the Lord. No, there are actually units still coming out, even while new factions are coming out. The other factions are getting broadened out.
Yeah, it does inspire confidence. We complain occasionally, as I did earlier before you were on the call, Jordan, about some of the communication occasionally from CB. But like one thing that I think you can be completely have faith in is when they commit to a thing, whether it be N5 or Warcrow or whatever it is, like they do really follow through. And it's not like, I mean, they're not Games Workshop, of course, they don't have that scale, but that they have enough scale and enough investment and enough of a plan that like that game is gonna continue to exist and will grow, albeit steadily perhaps, but that's much more healthy for the community, I think, in the long run.
Yeah, especially since I can compare it to Simon, who a company that has a very rough year. They seem to have no plan. So if you play, so it's very happy to see a game that has a grand plan.
I know, Raymond, you and I have only ever played one game with each other. Somehow it wasn't a CD game, and it was.
John and I played against each other. It's not CBS.
And they've been good with the release schedule for Warcrow, where they they kind of did it with Infinity, with you'll get the tag, then this box, then this box. But for Infinity, it was already established game, so at least for me, it wasn't something I tracked that much. But with Warcrow, you can easily predict, okay, we got this, that means the next thing is the support box, or this means the next thing is the regular release of the line infantry from the starter box. So the predictability has been good too. It kind of lets us know that Scions and Feudum should have their large model, I think by mid next year, and CNN should get it around like March or something like that, I think. Following the normal release.
Nice.
All right. Third thing on your list, Thomas.
Yeah, my last thing is quite personal, actually. I don't know if it's entirely appropriate, but from a gaming perspective, so I have played operations subsection for 2 years at this point, I think, or over 2 years. It'd be 2 years. It'd be 3 years actually. Early next year, and what I've had at the end of this year, coming into N5, I was really confident with the faction. I've been playing them in N4, and I was like, yeah, they had some updates. I was ready. I felt ready to like sort of perform, right, and to feel like I was going to play my best games and win some more games and have a good time in that respect. Obviously, there's more to the enjoying the game than that, but that was my kind of like that was my goal, right? Was to like perform better, and I really didn't. Like it, I just tanked like the whole first half of the year, completely tanked it. And went to a big the national championships here in Sweden, and like completely like underperformed massively. I had a terrible time. And I really felt like, oh my God, I've invested all these years in this faction and it's gone nowhere. And I really like had like a moment where I was like, why, what should I do next kind of thing.
The
But
Scandinavian meta is very strong.
it is very strong. So, some of it is I'm just not as good as a lot of the players that I play against. But I stuck with it. I had a little break over the summer and I came back and I was like, I still feel drawn to the faction somehow, and I still want to play it. And over the last 2 or 3 months, it's just really turned a corner for me in a big way. And I've been still not winning like a lot, but every match I've played in, I felt like I felt comfortable. I felt like I knew what I was doing. I felt like I knew what my army could do and what I wanted it to do in any given moment. And it just clicked. Like something about it clicked. I'd actually, OSS is the sort of robot android faction, Terminators stuff, all that kind of thing, and it has a lot of good hackers. But what I did was I was listening to one of my local players, a very good player, and from even at the end of N4 and certainly in N5, he was like, "I don't use hackers. I think they're pointless. I never use hackers." And I was like, "You're mad. You're mad." Like it's a whole part of the game. This is a guy who went to the Infinity Team Championships and was on the winning team. Sweden won the inaugural Infinity Team Championships on that team. So he's a very good player. He often goes to big 2-day tournaments and places very highly. And after a while, I was like, maybe he's onto something. Maybe I'm trying too hard to fit hackers into this faction that, back in N3 when they released, they were very good at hacking, but the game has moved on, obviously. They have other qualities. So let's see what those other qualities are. And yeah, once I did that, it just unlocked something. And now I'm like, yeah, I will take this army again to any tournament, any play. If I want to like win, this is the army for me. And I feel confident that I might win. I'm more likely to win. And if I don't, I know I still will have played well to my own standard. So yeah, that's my other highlight of the year.
And here I am as an Ariana player trying to fit hackers into my list. And you're just going as Aleph. Nope.
Nope. So yeah, that's my highlight.
Cool. Yeah, to get an epiphany of how to play.
yeah, really. And I think I think that says something about the game. Like it's complex. It's a complex game. It takes a long time to get, not a long time necessarily, but it takes a lot of reps, right, to get to a point with an army from like zero. You've never touched this army before to a point where you feel like you can play well with them. It takes a lot of reps. Yeah. And for most people, myself included, that takes a lot of time. I can't really get in more than like one game a week on average.
Yeah.
So consequently, it's taken me nearly 3 years and like 2 editions of the game to a point where I'm like, I get it now, and I know how it works, and I'm gonna play well with it. And you can look upon that as like that's kind of mad. Like that's completely insane that a game is that demanding. But also it's really cool. Like, if you want to play the game and you want to invest in a game and you want that game to be meaningful to you, then Infinity is a game like that. It's really awesome. Yeah. And I feel really good to have had that experience with it.
Yes. Like maybe you have I'm also the type of Europa Universalis player as we go into just regular gaming, and then it's easily 900 plus hours that I stick into a game. So I know that feeling. While also being with Infinity, since I have all the factions, I just jump from the one to the other.
Yeah.
Currently, I'm sticking around Ariadne, but that's mostly because there has been so many changes and so many things that I want to try out that even in this little bubble of Ariadne, I got enough to do to try out that my other factions get a bit neglected. But I will get to them. And 5 is still young.
Yeah.
So, Jordan, do you have another highlight, or else we go to the worst things of 2025?
I guess I have a quick highlight. I don't know what you guys have said unless one of you repeated it.
We did ITS 17. So
No,
that's covered.
I was gonna just quickly give a shout out for the Nest program that CB started. I think it's
Yes.
been a very good one. It just shows, we know CB has a lot of support for the community and creators, but this is just like the next step on that. And it's just been, I think, very good at both showing that support, but also the quality of the content. It's one of those things where creators, there's some communication, but this has just given creators a lot of one way to. There's been a lot of motivating creators to improve amongst themselves and by CB, and just sharing ideas and resources. I think it was a great idea, and so far it's been really great for the community, and both the larger community and also just the creator community. So it's definitely a big plus for me for the end of the last year, and I look forward to seeing where it goes in the coming year.
Yeah, it's the reason why we went on the YouTubes. We were just broadening our perspective, and maybe you as a listener already have found out that there is more content out there, and that's mostly because there's this creator nest that is now supporting us, pushing us, trying to streamline.
Yeah.
And even CB
sharing,
right?
Yeah.
They've been sharing posts from content that's been posted, and not just in the past they used to do that to some extent, but it was always usually like the bigger creators out there. But even now there's been some smaller channels that have gotten things that CB has just posted onto their Facebook, and before the program that wouldn't have really happened.
Yeah, sometimes they send out a package, sometimes they didn't, so it was a bit
Yeah, I totally agree with that one. A really great call out, Jordan. I think I obviously am also in the creator nest. And for those of you listening, if you have listened to me before, I've always been using my crappy Bluetooth in-ear headphones that I listen to music on when I'm walking around. But on this particular broadcast, I'm using a real microphone that I really spent real money on. That was because of the creator nest. I was inspired to be I need to up my game on a personal level. And it's so just that small thing. I'd like to do more. Hopefully we will do more collectively in the coming year. And it's a big part of why any quality improvement that you as a listener hear from us, it's partly down to the fact that the nest exists and that there's a community of people who are trying to encourage us to get and do more.
Yeah, we hope for the next episode will be the 200th one, that we can do that in a live streaming fashion. That finally me as a little troll can come out of the woodwork and be shown on camera.
Well, Raymond will get this, but back in the day, the big thing for us was get Jordan a new non-squeaky chair.
Yeah.
I remember way back early in the Whip 12 days when my chair, I moved it all, which is like
That I'm happy that thing is burned, man. The amount of squeaks that I had to cut out. I got another highlight. Jordan's chair has been gone for a long while, but my own chair starts to squeak now. So maybe I'm sitting really still.
Let's get that WD-40 out.
Yeah. I need to do some DIY. So it's great that we got the nest now. So stay tuned. We're doing stuff for the better as well. So let's go into the worst things of last year. Jordan, can you kick off?
So for me, The biggest thing is kind of still an ongoing thing with SEOcast. In general, I find like it gets better, but then you're still getting the occasional just bad, either bad sculpts in terms of where the mold lines end up being, or just you'll just get a rash of some bad, I don't know if it's QC or just mold slippage. And I don't think I said it last year as a negative. In some ways, it feels more negative now because we're getting more things
Gameplay.
in the Unicool,
Yeah.
which is just possibly my favorite material now, and I'm someone that's always liked metal.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things. They seem to continue to be trying to improve on the SEOcast, but it's still like getting people, talking about growing the Warcrow community, the number of people that have been reticent to get in, either because of their own experience with SEOcast or just things other people posting about the SEOcast issues. So hopefully that continues to improve and get better, but it was kind of a bit of a drain sometimes.
Yeah, it's my worst as well, and I find it especially glaring when I got my Song of the Dormant pack. That the Unicool stuff clicked so well, and then you go with some of the more line infantry models, and they are in SIOcast, and they got the gaps and the fiddly bits that won't stick, and the unnamed that you get in 5 bits, and the amount of times that they was just a pain to glue together.
Yeah, like just the Scion half of the Song of the Dormant.
Yeah.
I think it's only the intact are in SEOcast.
Yeah.
And that bit, the rest, including the Beyond for Scions, is all in Unicool.
That's
and
so
it
nice.
probably took me at least twice as much time to assemble than the entire rest of the Scion half of Song and Beyond. And it involved
Same for me.
Cut off tabs because they wouldn't fit into the holes because it didn't quite, the molding didn't quite work. So then you don't have it, which means the arms snap off easier. It
was like the Master Urk. A pleasure to put together. The other stuff. This fits so nicely. While they are very weird looking multi-limbed models, and it just goes well. And then you come to the little human ones, and you're like, oh crap.
Yeah, this is also one of my lowlights as well. For all the same reasons you've mentioned. It's interesting. We've all had different highlights, but we've all got the same low light. Number one. And I think, as you pointed out, Jordan, it's the contrast with the Unicool stuff. I got the new Scarface and Cordelia model whenever it released, a couple of months ago, whenever it was, or a few months ago, and like it just went together better than any model I've maybe ever had. It was remarkably smooth and high quality, and you just can't say that for a single SIOcast piece. And you see some real horror stories of people, buying into a faction. You buy the whole, every box you can buy, and each one of them has at least one thing that's a real mess in it. And it's not just that like the models themselves, maybe it's slippage or whatever. It's that then recovering it is a problem. I consider myself a modeler. Like I like working with metal and with plastic, and I like cutting and filing and shaping things and making conversions. And I'm not like amazing at it, but I consider myself competent. But like working with SIOcast is just a nightmare. It's so laborious and slow, and like you've got so much more of the work to like fix, and it's so much more easy to do something wrong with it and damage it in your own work. So it's a I would say there aren't that many big issues with Corvus as far as I'm concerned, but I think that one is actually quite a big issue that they need to address somehow in the next year or two.
Although it wasn't my worst assemblage of this year, because I finally came around to put together the recruitment box for the Combine, so the extra. Oh, yeah. Why do these mofos come in like 8-9 parts per model? Like 2 arms, I put the fist rolls together. It was like gun on top, dozer in front, minor fiddly bits, you're good to go. Then I go to my extra box. I'm feeling quite joyous about putting stuff together, and then it's like loose arms, loose legs, loose head. The backpack has 2 wings on it. It was just like yeah. Since the extra are they're very thinly alien models, which I very much like. But yeah, then you have the one with the very stretched out arm that also has a gun in front. Like, all right, how is this gonna ever survive transport?
Sounds like old Pano and Yujing almost, where you need
Yeah.
to attach the separate back fins or the all. How many people from back in the day have Pano guys that don't have the ear fins because either
Oh
they
man.
just were like, I'm not putting those on, or they got broken off over time.
Yeah,
Or lost.
handlebars on motorcycles as well.
Yeah. Handlebars
Yeah.
on cycles. Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
I still cannot fathom why some of their robots still have loose feet. Like I had one of the O12
Yeah.
bots that had loose feet. Like, all right, I'm gonna first put the feet on the base, and then hopefully the model stays upright.
Yeah, the Dakini style ones are a
Yeah,
bit
the
awkward.
bikini
That's
style.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't mind those because I can find I find that because there's a pit, you can pivot it there a bit. You can have fun with posing a bit more.
That's a trick.
But that said, I remember I think early bikinis or something that I was assembling, and I didn't look at a picture. So I do have some that their feet are backwards because I'm like, oh yeah, the bigger toes should be in front, right? But it's the little toes are in front.
Have to rip it all apart again.
Okay, what's the next low light?
I think it's your go.
Yeah,
Is it
it's
my
your
go?
go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mentioned this earlier on before you came on, Jordan, and it's Pano. I mean, this is. I will need to caveat this one, and in fact, all of them after the anything critical after Seriocast, it's like not that big a deal. But I think a lot of people have had big issues with Pano sort of being blown up to the nth degree. Like it's quite cool that this faction, which is supposed to be the hyperpower, is now it's expressed in the game. Like all the factions that you can pick pretty much have just unbelievable power pieces and do things which other factions can't do, or can't do as cheaply, or can't do quite as well. Yeah, the whole like pitcher blocker kind of triad thing where you've got like Pano, previously the faction that doesn't really do hacking, but now they have like the cheapest, most efficient way to project a network and like really mess you up if they so choose. It's not that big an issue for me, but as a self-confessed like faction hipster, where I like weaker factions, I was all ready to play Pano in this edition. I was like, yeah, Pano, great. I played them in N4 vanilla, and I was like, yeah, I like this. It's a little bit awkward, and like there's some good bits, but there's some slightly lumpy bits. Now they're just very good. Like there's no real shortcomings in any way that I can see. And yeah, it's not that big a deal, but it's caused a lot of consternation, a lot of people complaining, and like, for some people the blocker is just like completely broken profile, which has a lot to do with the pitchers as a piece of equipment, which is another
Pictures are
slightly
just
separate issue.
broken. That's the whole issue.
Yeah, I mean, I could have really replaced this whole point with pitchers still need a lot of work. Maybe that would be a better way of summarizing this point. But yeah, that would be my low point.
I think I agree. I think the Pano has gotten in N5 overall a large glow up, and I think it goes a long way beyond hacking. Right, all their even without the blocker, I think pretty much all their factions, like MO doesn't have blocker, but they also now have very good hacking.
Yeah,
but it goes beyond that because traditionally Pano was kept at like it was by far the best shooters. I think they still very much. I think they are largely the best shooters. Definitely, you can bring more best in class shooters. And then in N5 in the past, sure they had the best shots, but you could almost hit that level with a fire team. You can't do that anymore. So now Pano was beyond overall still very much even more so than before the apex shooters. And then on top of that, they got smoke. They got the ability to not need to shoot because of disco balls being so prevalent. So now you
Yeah.
have disco balls. So now Pano, the big issue with Pano in the past was, yes, you're the best gunfighters, but you need to solve your issues with gunfighting. And you can't do the I'm just going to walk past, or maybe you can't get any good range bands without fighting. So now you're the best gunfighter, but maybe you need to take a bit of a suboptimal fight.
That's
But now
why
that's
they
gone.
never
And then
got
now on
smoke.
top of that, we have the hacking. So pretty much all the weaknesses, all the things that kind of balance out Pano being the apex gunfighter in a gunfighting game are also now gone, while they maintain the position as the apex gunfighting faction. So it definitely, I agree, it definitely feels like they almost get too much. Part of it's a bit of bias for me because my favorite by far and the only Pano faction I've really played is Shock Army, which I'm very glad they're back. But now they're also the worst of the Pano factions, which I never liked. I always liked them because I always joked they were the Ariadna of Pano.
Yeah.
That's why they were better, because they were like the low tech Pano with some high tech pieces. But yeah, I it almost feels like, because all the changes I mentioned with Pano weren't either direct buffs or they were over time, like these just general game changes, that I worry that to some extent the overall impact was kind of missed. Right? Like if you're changing a general overall thing and then another general overall thing, you might not recognize that both of those end up being significant buffs to one faction than others.
Yeah. Yeah, and it definitely seems to have been the case with that. Like, as you say, that's that combination of hacking and shooting, where, if you sort of could look at the different factions and go, oh, I'm Nomads, I'm the hacking faction with some shooting. I'm this, I do that. And then it's like Pano does shooting and not a lot else. So now it's like Pano does shooting and everything else actually pretty well. And yeah, again, not a huge deal. I'm sure it could easily be smoothed out with a one or two balance passes, but we're here to pick holes and stuff, so that's the hole I picked.
Yeah, I think
some
with
of
Pano,
it is a product.
well, I think with Pano for a long time, like they were the better shooters, but kind of on paper, because you always get like a point extra ballistic skill compared to another one. But but then you face something with mimetism or link teams, and then you get that +3 -3 swing, and it's far bigger than just having an extra point of ballistic skill. So I think they were in a weird design space that they were very limited, but maybe now the limits are limitless.
Yeah, I also think some of it's a bit of like a product of experimentation, right? So like Deferzen, right? He's a large part of what's made MO now very scary hacking wise, because he has that special die on his Trinity upgrade on his hacking device, which is, I think, the first time they've added a special die on a hacking program, which is cool to try around with. But a special die on a hacking program, especially a very good hacker, just changes the math so much in both reactive and active.
Yeah, as an OSS main, I'm like looking at the Asura being like, what the fuck? Like, why is I'm the one who has the apex killer hacker character piece. Oh, apparently not. Apparently it's just some dude in MO, like, who's also actually pretty good in CC and has a Spitfire as well. Like, what? That's not fair.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because extra damage on Trinity is nice, but more important is actually winning the fight to cause the damage.
Exactly. And also not dying reactively. Being like, okay, you can hack me with your Trinity, but you've got 3 dice and whatever yours is, I've got 2, which is like 100% better than it is against any other hacker. So yeah, special die is on Trinity is kind of wildly good. And yeah, I wish I had it too.
Yeah,
especially in a low burst environment, it's very handy to have another dice. Yeah.
Special
Not like
actually,
on heavy machine guns.
Just to like rewind a little bit in terms of highlights, I think special dice is like a new rule in the game. When it dropped, it was like, that's interesting. It's an interesting little wrinkle, but it actually proved to be hugely powerful and really like has huge applications across the board, where I'm like, I don't want extra burst anymore. I want special dice. I don't care about having 5 dice instead of 4 or 4 instead of 3. I want to hit 3 times, but have 4 dice. That would be much
Yeah.
better.
The burst you lose in reactive, the special dice will be your friend all the time.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
that.
I think that was the big thing.
Yeah.
I think early on, looking on paper, it's like, okay, it's cool because then you get to add burst without adding extra damage. But that the implication to reactive, I think, is the biggest part of it. Which
Yeah. At first we were
I know I
sad
didn't
because we lose
appreciate.
damage, yeah. But
Yeah.
now we're happy.
Yeah, like talking about Pano, right, with a Crux Knight where they can easily have +2 special die, and now it's like cool. In reactive, I have 3 shots. Sure, only one of them can actually do damage, but
Yeah, that doesn't necessarily matter. If I put a wound on you, then you might just be dead, or you might then have to rethink what you're going to do next.
well, and also one of the things people have always said with reactive, especially like the good players, is it doesn't matter. I don't actually care about killing you in reactive. I just want it to make it so you spend orders not doing anything. So even if
Yeah.
I only get what you only need to make 1 save and you survive, if I can just keep making you waste orders because you're doing your 3 dice against my 3 dice or your 4 against my 3, I'm slowing you down, and that's what reactive is really more about than actually killing models.
Yeah, completely. I mean, I play an OSS. I have John Hawkwood. He has 3 dice in reactive with a sniper rifle. So he's always in good range, and I always get 3 dice. So I've literally played games where he's held up an entire turn, where my opponent can't get past him. They don't have the tool to go around him, and so they just have to keep taking that face to face and keep losing. And he has a K1 sniper rifle, so it's like, it's kind of dangerous, but also kind of not. And so, yeah, they make the saves, but they're just spending order after order after order to try and get past him. It's really powerful.
Yeah, I'm just happy that the game has become more of a face-to-face game. More prolonged firefights, I believe.
Guys, we're slipping into positive. We're slipping into positive. No, we're supposed to be negative now, guys.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. What's the next low light? Who's got the next one?
Trying to think of any beyond. Honestly, beyond COcast, I can't really think of any.
COcast is the absolute worst.
I guess it's more of maybe it's a Canadian thing. There was a period there, especially where distribution, there was a lot of issues, and I don't think it was on CB's end. I think it was on who the changes to the Canadian distributor, just because of I think Asmodee bought Lion Rampart or whoever it was, which was a bit of a low light for me during the year and a bunch of people because it was just especially with Warcrow, but even Infinity stuff, you'd be like, okay, so this was the April release. It's September. Maybe I think we might be getting it soon. Which
wow,
it's not a big deal realistically. We all have such big backlogs, but
Yeah.
it was a bit of a low light, especially with things like Warcrow, where it's those monthly releases are a big deal because it's like cool, that is a new thing for the faction that doesn't have otherwise a thing. But it seems to have gotten balanced out now. So going into the end of the year, I think we started our releases were coming on time. So
That's nice.
it was a bit of a low light if I have to scratch my head for one.
We had years back a distribution issue in the Netherlands, or people just want to. If they wanted something new, they had to go to Germany or else wait a few months more.
Oh wow.
So
Any
happy
other
that
negatives?
No, I think I'm good. I think yeah, I was going to mention flyers, but I don't think they're actually that bad. A lot of
I think they fixed them.
Yeah, a lot of people complain about them now, I think, now that they're a bit better because they're so good. And they are good, but in my personal experience, I've played them quite a few times now, and they've not been oppressive in any way. They are good, like they're very threatening, but they're fine. They're fine.
I think it's like early. I think it's like some things in the game where if you don't prepare for them or don't set up to deal with them or respond to them, they can be oppressive. But I don't think overall they're too bad. I know, I was playing a bunch of Next Wave. I know people have had comments about the Next Wave flyer because it is very good, but at the same time, it can be very vulnerable. Like there are ways to deal with it that sure it's going to be a problem, but if you plan around it, it can't be. That said, if you go up against an opponent that either doesn't expect it or doesn't know how to respond to it, or it can just be brutal. But that's always been the case with a bunch of things in Infinity.
I mean, you could say
I
the
just
same thing
want
about
one that
tags,
looks
right?
nice.
Yeah, it's exactly like tagged, and I'd argue it's easier to deal with flyers than it is tags. Like,
Oh, they're
if
way
you do not
easier to
have
kill.
yeah, they're definitely easier to kill. The lack of cover is a huge difference, and I'm much happier with the state of flyers now than I like. If we had this conversation a few months ago, then I probably would have had flyers on my negative list because the first release of flyers, I think they didn't do a good job. Whereas I think now the vast majority, if not all of them, have their uses and I think are playable and
Yeah.
range from good to like very good.
Okay. I just
Cool.
want one that looks good. Yes. Right now,
Well, I'm
they
hoping
don't
for a
speak to me.
pterodactyl. I'm hoping the next wave one is a robot pterodactyl.
That would be so awesome. Oh, I like
What about the Zabek, the Capikalki flyer? That's cool.
that's the only one that I really like.
That's the ornithopter from Dune,
Yeah, the
right?
ornithopter.
Yeah.
It's a June ornithopter. Yeah,
The pilot position is a little bit weird because it's like hanging from the underside of the vehicle. But if you can ignore that some slight detail, then it's a very cool thing.
That's because that's the one where he deploys, right? If the flyer gets destroyed, he drops out.
Exactly.
Or am I
Yeah.
mixing that?
Yeah.
I like the ISS one. I like too. I was never a big fan of the O12 one. I find it a bit too chunky for my liking.
It's a crappy lens, Peter. That's what it is. I look at it and I think, oh, you're just like that old space marine that's just in the.
It is very Space Marine vehicle, isn't it? It's just like a flying brick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so bad. It's so bad. I don't like it, especially since the pinup art is just this lady that's sticking her booty out, and then you get this.
Yeah.
It's like going to McDonald's and then seeing that. Oh, that looks like a lovely hamburger, and then you're getting your order. That's what I think about the pinup art.
Yeah. Okay. Well, what's next then? What's our wishes for the coming year? What do we wish for from Father Corvus?
Oh, I have a good one.
Give it.
Very specific. I want them to release the Tech Draken box, and I want it to be at least 3. My 4 would be nice, but my dream is 2 Black Hearts, 1 Steel Jaw, just so we can get more dinosaurs on the field.
Just high production.
I feel like that's a good one. That's, as you say, it's very specific. It's sort of achievable. Like that might really happen. And yeah, okay. I mean, I know we did the new Next Wave faction focus. I enjoyed them. I'm not going there. I'm not into that. But I hope that you get what you wish for, because that would be cool. Everyone just adores the dinosaurs. And yeah, I can't be against that.
My fear is, and I think the more realistic thing that we'll get is of 3, and it'll be Drakios and then 2 Tech Drakens. I have a feeling that's what we'll end up getting, which also isn't bad, especially if Drakios is riding a Tech Draken.
Yeah, that sounds realistic. Yeah.
If Drakios rides Tech Dragon, then that guy is fully redeemed.
He somehow became S5. That's the only thing I can think of, unless they decided to put him in a much bigger body for some reason.
I've heard people talking about him being like a sort of dragon centaur, like human body, but with like a dragon legs. So 4 legs.
Like they merge him? Like they merge him with a Tech Dragon?
Yeah, someone was speculating that. Yeah, same.
I'd much prefer the riding. That would be our second cavalry model after the Juggernaut. So
yeah, my to lock in on this wish, my wish would be that Achilles and friends will also be optional in Aleph. That Aleph decides to make copies, because I think Steel Phalanx has lost something with losing this many units to the new wave. I think this should be optional as well in their army.
Yeah, I feel
Yeah.
I am glad they brought back that other guy as a good hacker to kind of replace Pandora, which was nice.
Yeah.
Can't remember his name.
But it's not the
guy that
same.
Phrasamides. Phrasamides?
Yeah, super journalist.
No.
Yeah.
Thamyris. That's the guy.
Virus, yes.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
they lose a bit.
I don't know. As an Aleph player, I'm sort of like, the game has moved on now. The narrative has moved on. I don't want Achilles back. Like, I want something new and fresh that's like gonna be cool and different. And you know,
Paris.
do something exciting.
Give Hector, since Achilles and friends left, give Hector some of his Trojan buddies.
I would love to see Hector get more love as a profile. He's sort of nearly good, but just not there. I think he could be way better.
I think we discussed this in our next wave thing. I still don't get why he's only BS 13.
Yeah,
like he's supposed to be nearly as good of a fighter as Achilles, and yet he's like average BS for an H. Like BS 13 is nothing special.
No. I mean, he is even like a heavy infantry, like a cyborg as well. Like, he should be minimum 14, like, realistically. Yeah. Okay.
He's just a very modest guy. Just not such a show off like Achilles. He's there.
Yeah.
You don't need to hit all your targets. It's fine.
They don't need to get Tusser back. Give them Paris as a new long range gunfighter, right? Paris was supposed to be an amazing archer, I think. I can't remember my Iliad too well.
Let's break open the Iliad. Who we got left? Like, where's this Odysseus fella? Where's he?
No. Odysseus already exists in lore. He's lost, so that's what Odysseus does.
Yeah, but lore can be changed.
No. As I said, give them the Trojan side. They've hardly touched the Trojan side. I think it's pretty much just Paris, and then I guess technically the Amazons supported the Trojans.
We already
have the two main Amazons. I guess that would matter.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I'm sort of like, I feel like I'm sort of done with all that. I want something new. I'd love to see, talking about wish listing, I'd love to see a new Aleph sectorial. I'd love to see OSS get a big update as well. And given the narrative place in the game with Achilles having sort of defected, I feel it feels silly to wish for it, because I feel like it's definitely going to happen. They have to have Aleph response, but I really feel like it's got to be something totally different. What I'd wish for is sort of like an Optimates sectorial, I think. So like take Maximus and Dart from OSS and then redo OSS, add some new things, maybe freshen that up, but then make an Optimates sectorial which has those two characters plus maybe 2, 3, perhaps 4 new Optimates, all different, different sort of skill sets and stuff like that, who are like humans. They were born humans, and then they've been like elevated to Optimate status. So they have like L-host bodies and they're really like powerful in whatever different way. And then build a new sectorial around that sort of concept, so that you get, instead of loads of sort of faceless robots, you actually get humans, like real human beings who are like, in the same way that you get like Next Wave is human beings who are like, I'm going over to this side and I believe in this project. You get humans who are living in the human sphere who go, I believe in Aleph and I want Aleph to be, I believe in the kind of power of Aleph and that I'm going to dedicate my life to fight for Aleph. And kind of, so then you get more of a mixture of like real human beings and then these like elevated humans. I think that's quite an interesting idea. Obviously, it's my own idea. I
think it's a good idea.
Cool. Yeah, be cool. And something fresh and new and a bit different.
But since dinos are taken by Next Wave, what will be their pet mascot?
Yeah, that's a good point.
We need a pet mascot to sell it.
Yeah, maybe like
break the other
saber-toothed cats or something. Like just move slightly forward in prehistory. So it's like, Ice Age, you got mammoths and saber-toothed cats and ground sloths. I don't know. I'm just that bit's not serious.
Next wave already kind of took that because the Juggernaut isn't a dinosaur. It's supposed to be like
Oh yeah.
apex
The
lion type
lion
thing.
thing, isn't
I
it?
think
Yeah.
if we're doing A-list, we embrace the rabbit. The
The
rabbit's always
rabbit.
been A-List's animal mascot. As we further
True.
embrace the rabbit.
The ears. They should all have massive long ears that hang down. Okay. Yeah.
Like Sasha
just
is
why
being
not?
sold pretty solidly, so I think rabbits are a thing. Yeah.
I've seen Monty Python. Those things are horrifying.
yeah. If they have like a holy hand grenade, like special character weapon, I'll be on board with that.
But that'll be the next MO update afterwards.
Yeah, it would have to be a character that went into both sectorials, definitely.
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm. Right. Well, that was my wish. Who's up for the next one?
Diabetes.
Yeah. Well, mine was Aleph. I jumped straight in with mine. I could mention also. I think it'd be really cool to see a campaign book of some description.
Yeah, it's been a while since we had that one.
Yeah.
Human Sphere 5.
That thing has been solidly outdated. Yeah, that's from in 3 times.
Yeah, it's really old, and I think that would be a nice different way to play. I mean, I think it's been proven in this year that N5 is a great competitive game. It's built on N4 in a really good way, but there is a whole other world of gamers out there in terms of growing the game, getting more players in, who they might play 1 or 2 tournaments, but what they love is a campaign and to come back every week and have your characters level up and stuff. I think that could be quite good because the game is so, like, obviously it's built on these foundations of an RPG, and I think lean more into that, bring us more of that kind of content. I think that could be quite successful.
Yeah. That's a big one for me as a wish because it goes on the same, and I think Infinity should get a cooperative mode. And it goes on the same thing. Like I find that to get new players into the game, I have a lot of Dungeons and Dragons playing people around me, or people that play board games, and they intend to enjoy a game, but they're not like this. They don't have that competitive streak, even if it's just very casual for our sakes. Just being a 1v1 game and someone will lose at the end doesn't sound very compelling to these kind of players. They want the action and the nice feel, and I think a cooperative system in Infinity is sorely missed. I've played now several other games where there are co-ops in, and it's also an easy way for me at least that when I played that game and we played it cooperatively, that I could easily learn me the game while we were playing. So I think Defiance was a bit of a miss on that because it had their own dice system and such. But I think if you can make a cooperative that learns you the game so that you can take someone in and they're not like totally in a situation where they have to win-lose to get some of the game, but you go in together, fight the automatic system, and still learn Infinity that way and play with the minis and maybe bring in gamers that are more inclined to the Dungeons and Dragons-y cooperatively kind of game style. Because I think there's, especially in Infinity with our special with how the story is, how the lore is, with all these units going on these special missions, that you still have this campaign kind of gameplay that's made for it. Because you want to go in with your teams and do the whole save the VIP, hack the computer, and all that kind of jazz that I tell people that the game is all about. But when you look at the missions, even ITS 17, which is great, I think these missions can be more improved to get that feel, and I think you can get there with a cooperative or a campaign mode. That's
I wonder if they could steal from MCP almost, where MCP has these game night packs / ultimate encounters where there's a kind of a narrative to the game mode, and one player plays, the big bad, and then 2 to 3 other players, might have smaller teams and then have specific things they're trying to accomplish. And it's a fun little, co-op thing you can do every so often where it's, 2 or 3 people against one person with special rules and things like that. It could be cool.
It's cool.
Yeah.
There's also the Mercenaries community project as well, which I played in a few seasons ago, and does exactly what you say, Ray. There are missions where you both have to work together, or you're both achieving an aligned goal where you're not actually trying to kill each other, or you're trying to kill a monster or something else. And it's a really different and fun way to play. And who doesn't like leveling up your models, right? And you have your like line infantry Gulam or whatever, and he achieves a mission and he gets a new weapon and he gets a new, and so all of a sudden that quite basic model becomes a guy with a name, and he's, all that stuff is great fun.
Yeah, because I think that I see more and more game systems picking up this co-op system. And I think Infinity should also get on that train.
Yeah, sorry, I kind of dragged it back to my point, but I think co-op's a really, really good idea.
Yep, I like co-op and narrative. I guess if it's my turn for a wish, less of a wish from me and more of a wish from the community, which is, I keep going back to Warcrow stuff because I've been doing a lot of Warcrow, which is, I really hope the Warcrow community embraces the idea of actually making cool-looking 3-dimensional terrain, as opposed to, Warcrow, unlike Infinity, can be played with, the flat tree mat instead of having actual forest and trees and things like that, or different things like that. And the CB, I love the CB card terrain. I think it's a great, starting point. He comes in the starter box. I think that's great. I really hope the community embraces making very nice looking Warcrow tables, because anyone that's played Infinity or gone to a store when they first found Infinity always benefits greatly from having I'd say the nicest looking tables of any of the other war games probably played at the store. So I really hope the Warcraft community kind of embraces that too. Just I think it just, the models are great and it helps them pop more, and it just makes the whole game more visually appealing to new players. So I've already seen you're already seeing people on the Discord and stuff doing that, but I hope it kind of becomes the standard, and you don't need anywhere near as much terrain for Warcrow as you do in Infinity. So it's less of a, I guess, commitment to make a nice Warcrow table than it is build up a full nice Infinity table.
Yeah, because with Infinity it's quite essential that you fill up the board. I think Warcrow less so.
Yeah.
Which helps. It's with some game systems you get the feeling that terrain is optional. Infinity, it's not. You have to commit to it.
And if you're someone trying to build a Warcraft community and you want to make sure you can get some nice trees, right now is the time of year to go buy those now on sale little evergreen Christmas trees that are probably everywhere. This is the time of year they're on sale. Just go buy a few packs of those. You throw them down on the little matte outline of a tree, of a forest, and then you have some 3-dimensionality there. So now's the time.
Nice.
For sure. Also, these little houses.
And little houses,
with skating kids in front, and then all of a sudden your orc cavalry comes storming down the main Dickens street.
Just hunting those toy building elves.
Well, I'm done with wishes, guys. I think I'm all done with the session as well.
You're all out wishes.
I need to go.
All right. Well, I just want Acheron Falls to drop in 2026. That's the new game I'm looking forward to.
The Kickstarter.
Yeah. They already started production of the models, so it's a matter of time.
And then we can do complex campaigns where we fight in space and then fight on the ground.
Oh my god, I would love that so much. That would be wild to do like a really big space and then can you get your ship through the blockade to then drop your special team behind lines, that kind of thing. That would be super cool.
Oh man, I will already start writing. This sounds awesome. I like that. Never thought of it that way. Oh man, we can only play the game if Thursday we get our ship passed, or else you're stuck.
Ah, that would be awesome. You could do like, so if you break through the blockade and you win like a major victory, then it gives you whatever the mission is that you play then in Infinity is different. But if you like, maybe you get a draw or you get something else and the mission changes in the next game, that would be wild. You get like a branching, like, I know I don't have time for that, but it would be cool to know people were doing it.
I have to be a student again to get kind of time.
Yeah.
Just a regular old already a bit of a push.
I do have to head out, so I'm just going to quick say my sign off. Thanks for all the listeners over the year, and looking forward to another great year with Whip 12. And also, if you want War Pro content, check out my YouTube. Anyways, nice talking with you guys.
Yes, Jordan, thanks. Yes, well, listeners, thanks for tuning in with us. Thomas, do you have some final well wishes for the audience?
I do, yeah. Thanks everyone for tuning in to this end of year episode. I hope you've enjoyed it. I certainly have. And I look forward to us all providing you with more entertaining and hopefully visual entertainment in the new year. It's my job to sort out all the streaming stuff. So if it doesn't happen, you can seek me out online and blame me for the lack of that content. But yeah, otherwise, Merry Christmas to one and all who are celebrating, if you have been or are celebrating that period of time, and a Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Yeah.
Next year we will do some more deep dives because the list ain't finished. So we will get it. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for listening, and we'll see you all next time.